Buongiorno, buona domenica. Hello everyone and welcome back. Happy Sunday. I am glad to be with you again in my studio. Sono Little K. I am Little K, the artist also known as Kristen, and I am back in my little corner of the art world sharing just a quick video today with you, and I'm excited to share this with you. I'm testing out a new color palette today, so I have a smaller round canvas. I'm just reusing an older canvas, and I have already got my foundation layer of my PPG Multi-Pro house paint already down there in a little puddle on my round canvas. And I think this is a 16-inch round on my 16-inch round spinner. The mix videos for the colors that I'm using for my Little K Artistry Abstract Cellism are in the link below, and also the link to make my spinners is, the video link is down below in the description as well. So if you want to make your own little spinner, or if you'd like to try my mix, it's pretty simple, and get the results that I get, I am happy to share those with you. So welcome, benvenuto. I'm so glad to have you here. And no, you do not need to adjust your TV. I am speaking in English and Italian. I am planning a trip to Italy, as some of you may know, going to the Uffizi Gallaries in Florence next fall. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. And I am learning the language because, well, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's beautiful. I am so in love with everything Italian, it's not even funny. The food, the music, the art, the culture, the people, land, all of it. So I am so excited to be able to do that in about a year from now. If everything goes as planned, I'll be doing that next year. And I want to learn the language so that I can speak to the beautiful people of Italy in their language. So that is why you're going to see me mixing in, and I'm still learning. I'm practicing. I'm not very good at it at all. I still cannot roll my R's, but you know, I'm learning. And I had a teacher in high school who told me this one thing long time ago. I never forgot it. She told me, everything that you love to do, you were once new at. So I have to keep that in mind. I'm still new, I'm still learning. So every chance I get, I'm using the very few words that I know. I'm learning new ones every day. The hardest part, it's the same when I was learning Spanish in high school. The hardest part for me is verb conjugations. I just am like, I don't remember how to do it, but I'll get there. So today I am going to be in English. I might throw in a couple of Italian words in there, but I want to share this with you. Mostly it's for the color combination, because this color combination I think is going to be really beautiful. So let me tell you what I'm going to be using. I'm going to start with the Van Dyke Brown again, just because I want a dark center. And then I'm using a permanent violet dark. And then on top of that, I'm using Viridian green, and then a little sap green, so I'm mixing green and purple. And then I'm going to go with one of my favorite golds, which is a mixture right now. And it is the Iridescent Gold by PBO, which is a tube paint. And then the Let's Resin Pigment. And this one is the bright gold. So I mixed the tube paint and the pigments, and I got a really gold. And I'm just loving it. So I'm going to try that. And of course, I'm going to use the black top layer. This is not cell activator. There's no Australian Floetrol in this. The recipe is down below. I'm going to put my, sorry to turn my back on you. I'm going to put my apron on so that I don't ruin my "It's too peoply outside" t-shirt. Don't be offended. It's just me being silly. Put my trusty little apron on and my gloves. And we are going to go ahead and get started. This one shouldn't be very long at all. Should be fairly quick. The last one that I posted last Sunday was a little bit longer. This one will be a little shorter. So I'm just going to do probably a really small balloon. So what I will do is use this, because let me show you my two different hair dryers. I have two different diffusers. These are both travel size hair dryers. I have two different diffusers, and if you can see, the yellow one is much smaller than the black one. And the reason why, because that way I can do smaller petals and smaller flowers on smaller canvases. This one I can do larger petals on larger flowers on larger canvases. So grande. I know that's big. Okay, so I've got my base layer down. The PPG Multi-Pro, I'm going to keep saying it. I love it as a base layer, foundation layer, because there are zero bubbles. Love it. So I'm going to And I'm just going to make very, very, very small amounts in the center because this is a fairly small canvas. It's only 16 inches. You don't need a ton of paint. Just a tiny bit. And you're probably saying to yourself, that does not look like enough. Trust me. Trust the process. It is enough. Oh, and I did have someone ask what's on the top of my candlestick. What I do is, because my pouring medium has an ingredient in it which sometimes lightens the color of the paints when they're wet, I want to see what they look like when they're dry. So each one of my little paint cups, I put a dab of the wet paints on it so that you can see the difference. This is the Van Dyke Brown. It's very dark when it dries. It's a lot lighter when it's wet. I'm going to show you the same thing with the sap green. It looks really light in the can, but then when it dries, it's super dark. So I like to do that so that I can look at the top of the covers and I can just tell by looking if they're going to be darker or how much darker they're going to be so that I can choose my colors appropriately. So whoever asked that, I can't remember who asked, I'm sorry. So this is my Permanent Violet Dark. And this one there again, see, it looks fairly light, but then dries really dark. All right, so this is going to go right on top of the Van Dyke Brown, just like so. And I'm going to cover up all of the brown because when I blow it out, I don't want brown on the edges of my petals. And if your base, the first dark color that you put on there, if that's a really big puddle, then you might have darker around the outside edges. If you want that, then make the first color puddle really big. It's all really in practicing and just seeing how the paints move when you blow them out. And if you want, which color you want on the outside versus on the center of your flower. Really, it has a lot to do with just practice. Okay, so this is the Viridian Green. Such a beautiful color. Not a ton of that one, just a little. Because remember, we're going to put sap green down there too. And this one as well dries quite, you can see if I put it like this, you can see how much lighter it is versus what it looks like when it's dry. I never did that before, and I was always really frustrated that some of my paintings were lit like really bright and colorful, and then they dried a lot darker. But it was because I didn't really know what they were going to look like when the colors were dry, because they were still pretty light when they were wet. Okay, this is the sap green. These, with the exception of the mixture of PBO iridescent gold and the Let's Resin bright gold pigment, these are all golden fluid acrylics. I love to use golden fluid acrylics. They are very highly pigmented and very bright. There's a huge selection of colors that you can choose from. They really are quite beautiful. Okay, there's the sap green. And then this is that beautiful gold. I like to put this one down right under the top layer because when I blow it out, it makes beautiful streaks. And often, if I do it right, I get the beautiful gold streaks on the edges of the petals, which looks really pretty, I think. You may not agree, and that's okay. I'm going less for composition in this one and more for the mix of colors because this is a new color palette I'm testing out. A lot of times when I do test out a color palette like this, I'll use an older canvas, or I will do a paint skin and I'll just use one of my silicone mats. I decided to use an actual canvas this time. Okay, and then my top layer, and I just mixed this. I had to mix a new bottle. I had to rinse my bottle because I had all the dry gooky stuff in it, and when I was trying to squirt it onto the canvas, it kept getting stuck in the nozzle and wouldn't come out. A little frustrating. So, wash my bottle and make a new batch. Okay, pop in the bubbles. All right, let's go with, I'm going to try and make 3 petals this time. Let's see. Just going to try and expand that center puddle of the black top layer. Just expand it a little bit before I blow the colors out. Okay. Grazie. Petal number 1. Petal number 2. Petal number 3. Okay, now let me just look at it for a second. Okay, I think I do want to make 6 petals. I do want to make some more petals. So I'm going to go this way first. Ooh, I am loving this color combination. This is so pretty. Ooh. I'm going to elongate these 3 a little, just a tiny bit. Okay, so now I'm deciding whether or not I should do a second layer of petals. I think I should. I don't know. All right, let's try it. Okay, this is very interesting. Again, I wasn't really going for the composition in this one, mostly just for the colors, but let's tweak it a little bit. I do like the composition now. And remember, don't drag your white base layer into your painting. You got to be really, make sure that string breaks before you lift it over your canvas, or you'll have white, a white line through your composition. Unless you want a white line through your composition, and then there you go. Just making some interest here. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so before I spin, I'm going to see if I can get a few more of these bubbles in the center pot. And then, as I've told you before, you want to make sure, even though this isn't a totally dry canvas because it does have a layer of paint on it, so it's a little slippery, I still want to stretch this white paint out because I'm afraid that this is a lovely composition, and I'm still a little bit worried that once it hits the drier part of the canvas, it'll stop. And then, like I said before, this leading edge of the white paint rolls under as it moves, and then whatever's on top of the white paint will also roll. So you want to be really careful that you're not rolling under your composition, because then you'll lose some of those beautiful edges in your petals if you're doing a flower. And I only know because I've done that, and it's so frustrating because can't go back and fix the composition once you've got it the way you want it. If you mess it up, it's messed up. Okay, let's spin. You guys ready to see what this is going to look like when it gets full on the canvas? And again, more revolutions and slower. They don't have to be real fast. You don't have to spin like your life depends on it. I mean, unless you want to. Oh, this is so pretty. I'm loving this color combination. I wasn't sure about the Viridian green because it does have a bluish tint to it, but it's looking just gorgeous. It's really looking nice. So some of these petals are going to spin off, and that's fine. the majority of the beautiful part of the composition is right in that center area. I think there's a little glob of paint. Darn it! A little glob of dry base paint right in that center. This is where the tweezers come in really handy. So I like to go in and pick it up and then drag it in whatever direction. Hopefully it doesn't distort the picture too much. And there's one more. It's a tiny one right there. I think there's a tiny one right there too. They're just little pieces of dried paint. I think that just came off the edge of my little container when I poured the paint out. Okay, so I don't have very much paint left in here, but I do need to put a little bit on the edges where it's not, because it's not running down over the edges right there. I'm making a mess. This is what happens even when I don't have the camera on. I just make a mess. But that's okay. The mess is part of my therapy too, because I tend to be a bit of a neat freak. And I clean houses for a living, which utilizes my OCD quite well to my advantage. But with art, it's a bit of a hindrance. I've had some people tell me that I spend too much time cleaning up in my videos. I can't help that. It's my OCD. I have to clean. All right, so let's spin. I just want to make a couple of, this is my dry skewer. I just want to make a couple more cells in the very center here. I'm just forcing that black layer down so that a cell will form there. And you can see them forming nicely. Okay, we're going to keep spinning a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to test the, oh, that's lovely. Oh, I really like this. I didn't think I was going to like it so much. These center petals in here, these are looking like watercolor. I'll bring you in closer at the end of the video and show you what I'm talking about, but the watercolor effect is just beautiful. Let me see how we're doing on the depth. Perfetto. Perfetto. So before I used my skewer, there was just that one dot in the center and a couple out here, and now there's some bigger ones now that have formed. And that's the whole point of doing that. Now, there are no bubbles on this entire canvas, so I don't have to pop anything. I have all the cells that I need. I have them right where I want them. Most of them are in the center. But wow, this is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see what the composition is going to be. And then I'll bring you in closer so you guys can take a look at this and tell me what you think. Not that way. Not that way. I didn't even have to tilt this one. This one came out perfect without tilting. Okay, so I think this is the bottom, that's the top. So I'm going to spin it so you guys can see it from there. Like that. I love, this is a very light, very springy looking color palette. I think it's just beautiful. So I'll bring you guys around there in a second. I'll come over there and videotape a close-up. I do want to tell you once again the colors that I used. The Van Dyke Brown, of course, because I love to have that dark in the center. Plus, when I blow it out, I'm noticing there's a tiny hint of the brown underneath all the colors. And then the permanent violet dark was the next color, Viridian green, and then my sap green. And then I have my favorite gold, which I'm using right now, which is a mixture of the PBO iridescent gold, which is a tube paint, and then the Let's Resin bright gold pigment. So there you go. Awesome. I think it's beautiful. I really love it a lot. So, Grazie mille. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sono little K. I am so appreciative of all of you. Please drop a comment. Let me know what you think of this piece, what you think of this color combination. Thank you so much for joining me, spending a few minutes. Hopefully you're relaxing with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever it is that you drink. Maybe some a little stronger. In order to put up with me, you might need that. I'm not that bad, really. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all so much. You're just wonderful. I believe, are approaching like 4,000 subscribers on my channel now, which is mind-blowing. I can't even. So please drop a comment and let me know from where in the world that you're watching so I can give you a shout out. I am in Maine, which is the very northeast portion of the United States. And I know you guys are from all over the US and lots of other countries. If there's anybody out there from Italy who's watching, please say ciao. and I will respond as well as I can, hopefully in Italian. So, per favor, give a shout out. And I will be delighted to hear from you, especially if you're in Florence. If any of you out there who are in Florence or have been to Florence and you have been to the Uffizi Gallaries, I would love some tips or some ideas or what you thought about the Uffizi Gallaries. I'm dying to get there. I cannot wait to see the paintings. I'm hoping that all the ones that I want to see are still there when I get there. So thank you very much for sticking with me. And grazie mille for joining me today. Thank you so much. This is Little K once again. Go make the art.